Hey, this is Chris Beyer.
Hey, this is Chris Bowling.
We're CB Squared, coming to you here today to talk a little bit about what it means for an employer to have a high-performing benefit program. So, Chris, we talk a lot about high performance and talk about helping our employers and our clients move from that low-performing status quo benefit program to high-performing. What does that mean as you would look at that maybe for the CFO and possibly the HR director in each of those roles? What do you see high performance mean?
I'll probably take a step back. I think where our industry is struggling is, you and I talk to employers all the time, and it's, yep, we're happy. Well,
Right.
what does that mean?
Right.
Happy with what? Happy that they return your call, happy that they show up. And
Right.
that's where you and I had to start really focusing on our best clients, the clients where their trend is either zero or going negative.
Right.
And we started dissecting what are we doing for those employers that are helping them outperform what we're seeing medical trend or what we're
Right.
seeing our books of business do. And I really think that's how you and I started to really focus on what is happy. How do you become
Right.
happy?
Right.
You can be happy, but if your plan's going up 20% a year, are you blaming it on the market? Are you blaming it on your carrier? So that's where you and I really dove into what is
Yeah.
high performing and what are these clients doing that their trend is staying at a very low level and there's no pain for them.
Yeah.
What are your
No,
thoughts?
I think that's a really good point because I think our industry as the broker, the consultant has done a poor job historically of telling that employer that, hey, if we get your renewal back and it's 20% and we go to the carrier and we beat them up and it's 15, that we've done our job. Or, what, we've shown up and we've helped you negotiate your insurance renewal, that we've done our job and you can be happy as that employer. I don't think, Chris, that employers have lack of vision. I think they just don't know, like you said, what happy could mean, and changing that from being happy to being high performing.
Right.
As we do look at our best performing organizations, and I would also say that this is not we never arrive. It's one of those things where we start working with a new employer. We understand where they're coming from, what challenges they're facing to get where they want to be in 2 to 3 years with their benefit program. We identify that, we help them, deploy the right resources to get there. But every year is that new challenge because we've maybe moved that needle a little bit, but now we're into that next year and we've got to up our game each time. So if you do say that, we've seen the what it means to be high performing, and it's either, they're keeping their costs in line or their employees are truly valuing the program. What does that look like for, an employer coming out of open enrollment now into 2021? How does high performance look differently than maybe what they might have experienced if they were working on a low performing program?
Right. Well, you would agree that, 2020 was such a challenge of just how do we communicate changes in our benefit plan that
Right.
I really think 2021 has to be a refocus on
Yeah.
how are we communicating, truly one of the top 3 expenses that an employer has. How are we
Yes.
communicating, how to navigate healthcare, especially
Yeah.
with COVID, is that, you can't just walk into your primary care and just see them for, the common cold or the
Right.
ache and pain. So, I think it's that, Chris. And I also think we're really worried about the backlog in healthcare. How
Yeah.
many people weren't able to get their colonoscopy? How many people weren't be able to, really were not able to get some of those surgeries or some of that therapy that they really needed in 2020?
Right.
And you're going to have a backlog in 2021, which means your claims are going to go up. So,
Yeah.
what's your plan for that? How are you going to, A, help your employee navigate healthcare, but B, how do you as an employer figure out how to keep those costs in control?
Absolutely. And I think, it's that backlog. We know that claims are going to go up in 21, just as you said. And when you think of it from the CFO's perspective, they want to be proactive and prepare for those claims. They want to know that there's ways that they can project out what that cost is going to look like. The highest performing plans have that forecasting and that analytics model in place. And then when you look at the HR team, I think they're also trying to make sure that they're relaying the right information on what that benefit program means, just like you said, helping employees know how to navigate healthcare. But at the end of the day, they're doing that in a totally different medium in some ways than what they used to do. And I think the highest performing benefit programs, HR directors are getting their time back to make better employees, because we're seeing the ability to leverage technology and help those employees engage better without that traditional way of just doing meetings or handing out packets that are there. So, it's not a one size fits all high performance. Like you said, we've taken a look at our full client book of business, some of those best practices, and really can identify which levers that employer could and should be pulling in 2021 to be the highest performing they possibly can. So Chris, I mean, I would say, we're open for business in that sense. If there's an employer that is wanting to know more about high performance, certainly put a comment in our post, message us through our different social media channels. We'd be happy to set up that introductory call just to help you compare what you're doing currently and how that compares to what we know is the highest and best performers that are in the industry.
Well said.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Thank you, everyone.